Hey folks, it's Rob, and welcome back to my series on the Red Box Player's Manual. Previously, we went through the Cleric, and all the Cleric spells for first level. And now we're going to go through, my plan is to go through the Fighter and probably the Thief, and we'll see where we are from there, right? We're going to carry on with the classes, basically, is the intention. And... Here we have another lovely piece of art by Mr. Easley. Very stalwart looking fighter fellow. That this is definitely chain on the limbs here, but got like a. These aren't really I mean, they're not gauntlets, right? They're more of a greave. You got the epaulets, and hard to say what kind of. Like, under the tunic, is it just chain? Probably. I think this guy's in chain. And he's got himself a, good sword, fur cape. Pretty solid looking fighter, medieval kind of looking guy, right? We're kind of familiar with the fighter class because that's what we were using for the solo adventures. But let's read through it, and I will say, I think also the compendium lists some abilities the fighter has that are not described in the basic set. That being to set a spear against a charge, and the ability to use lances while mounted. And those are additional abilities the fighter has outside of mastery, which the mastery rules can be used for. Some people just use them for fighters. Some people use them for all classes. It's found in the master set and in the compendium, but not in this red box set. Also, I didn't use mastery that much with the red box. By the time the mastery rules came along, our characters were kind of developed, but we did use specialization and mastery rules that were found in Advanced Dungeons & Dragons 2nd Edition for characters we played in those kind of campaigns. Well, let's get to it. Enough of me rambling on. Fighter. Description. A fighter is a human who studies combat. Fighters usually have greater strength than other characters. They usually hit monsters more often and inflict more damage. In the D&D game, fighters protect the weaker characters. A party of all fighters would probably survive most dungeons, even where magic would be useful. Every group of explorers should have at least one or two fighters. Can't say I disagree with having one or two fighters in a party. Strength is needed in many game situations. For example, a door may be stuck, or a huge boulder may block the party's progress. A strong fighter can often solve these problems. Magic might also work, but magic is limited, and a fighter can use strength as often as needed. Your fighter could probably survive a dungeon adventure when exploring alone. This is why your solo adventures have been designed for fighters. The other classes are not as self-sufficient as the fighter. Magic users and thieves are much weaker, and although clerics can wear any type of armor, they are limited in other ways. In group adventures, your fighter should stay in front. There are 3 or more fighters in the party. One should stay in the back in case a monster tries to sneak up on you. Whenever a battle occurs, don't be afraid to move in. Your character is better equipped for combat than any other type. When a group is surprised, the monsters may damage the characters before they have a chance to react. Fighters have a better chance of surviving these dangers since they have more hit points. A fighter character should know more about the many weapons than the other characters. Be sure to read the combat section on page 59 to learn how to use both hand-to-hand and missile weapons. Learn the forms of defensive movement described in the same section so you can play your fighter most effectively when those rules are added to your game. Fighters often look for magical healing potions since they are usually hurt in battles. Magical weapons are also valuable, adding bonuses to 2 hit and damage rolls. So the explanation, here we have the saving throw table, and as you can see, death or ray or poison is a 12. Magic Wands 13, Paralysis, Turn to Stone 14, Dragon Breath 15, and then Rod, Staves, or Spells 16. So they're weakest against spells because they're the least familiar with spells, right? Level titles are Veteran, Warrior, and Swordmaster. Veteran implies that you're not just some noob, right? You know what you're doing. You put in your time, but now you're an adventurer. And then you become a warrior and a swordmaster and so on and so forth. Eventually, you might become a landed lord at like level 9. Explanation of fighter experience table. So XP is the number of experience points that have been earned. The fighter automatically moves up to the next level of experience. So that's 2,000 for level 2 and 4,000 for level 3. Spoiler alert, it's 8,000 for level 4. Your fighter should use this title when talking with other characters. Instead of saying, I'm Fleetwood, a second level fighter, character should say, I'm Fleetwood, the warrior. Other details. Prime requisite. Fighter's prime requisite is strength. If a fighter has a strength score of 13 or more, character gains a bonus to experience points earned in every adventure. Hit dice. An 8-sided die is used to determine a fighter's hit points. A fighter starts with 1 to 8 hit points plus a constitution bonus, if any, and gains 1 to 8 more hit points plus bonus with each level of experience. Armor. Fighter may wear any kind of armor and may use a shield. Weapons. Fighter may use any kind of weapon. Special abilities. Fighters need no special abilities to survive and prosper. Their great strength, hit points, strong armor, and many weapons make them a powerful character class. And that's it for the fighter description. Really, it gets more into the combat rules later. But at this point, that's our entire fighter description. Now here's magic user description. We did go through this earlier, a couple episodes ago. So I'm going to move past that, and we're going to go to the thief. Here we have another Jeff Easley piece of art of a sneaky-looking fellow with practically a swag bag here. Put a little dollar sign right on that, right? Let's get in here. So, thief. A thief is a human who specializes in stealth, lockpicking, trap removing, and other activities. Thieves are the only characters that can open locks and find traps without using magic. As the name indicates, however, thieves do steal, although rarely from members of their own groups. Any thief who steals from friends is usually not permitted to adventure with them ever again. So yeah, don't be a jerk to your friends at the table, right? Be their thief. Don't be the one who thieves from them. In the D&D game, all thieves belong to an organization, sometimes called a guild. Every town has a building, called the guild hall, where thieves may live and eat, for a price, of course. Every thief learns the arts, a thief's unique skills, see special abilities below, from teachers at the guild. Thieves are a normal part of D&D life because of their unique skills, but they are not usually welcome in the better parts of towns. While adventuring, your thief should avoid danger whenever possible. The thief's job is to use the special abilities where needed. A thief's skills can be very useful as they can be used over and over. For example, a magic user may use a spell to open a lock, but the spell only works once. A thief may try to open locks whenever desired. Now, some DMs might decide that you failed picking the lock. You don't get to try to pick that lock again until you go to the next level. Your mileage may vary. When an encounter occurs, your thief should stay out of the way. You may try to sneak around a monster, either to steal its treasure or to attack it from behind. You should not fight hand-to-hand unless you have to. A thief has few hit points, and although some light armor may be worn, it is not much protection. So our saving throws break down to Death, Rare, Poison 13, Magic Wands 14, Paralysis or Turn to Stone 13, Dragon Breath 16, and Rod, Staves, or Spells 15. You need 1,200 XP to get to second level with a thief. That's nice, because it helps make up for the fact that you're rolling a D4 for hit points. Also, you need to start advancing those skills. 2,400 for third level, and that's it's only 400 more XP than the fighter needs for second. had we been playing a thief in the solo adventures, we would have definitely gotten enough XP between both adventures if we managed to survive everything to get to second level. Or if we just gotten those gems from the rust monster, that would have really helped. Anyhow, in fact, a thief's not bad for just like pummeling a rust monster to death, because honestly, it just put the metal weapons aside and just be like fisticuffs. Or a club. Get a club. Speed it up. Most thieves have high dexterity scores. Since this can affect missile fire, see Advanced Combat, page 58, you should learn the rules for missiles and carry missile weapons. A sword or dagger will be needed in situations where you can't avoid close combat. Thieves are found in most groups of adventurers. The task of staying alive by sneaking and using your wits instead of just fighting can be an exciting game challenge. And I gotta say, I gotta go with the recommendation of you should definitely get some kind of bow or missile weapon so you can just like use that in most of your combat encounters. But you do still need like a dagger or a short sword or something for when you need to be up close and personal with something that's in your face and won't go away. Or perhaps you're behind them. Who knows? So the usual XP item here. Yeah, we know about XP and levels. Your thief should use this title when talking with other characters. Instead of saying, I'm Gregan, a second level thief, the character should say, I'm Gregan, the footpad. So it's apprentice, footpad, and robber. Prime requisite. Thief's prime requisite is dexterity. If a thief has dexterity score 13 or more, character gains bonus X to their experience points earned in every adventure. Hit dice. 4-sided dice used to determine a character's hit points. A thief starts with 1 to 4 hit points plus constitution bonus, if any, and gains 1d4 more hit points plus bonus with each level of experience. A thief may only wear leather armor and may not use a shield. So, if you might recall, unarmored, 9 AC. Leather armor is 7. So it's 2 points, not to be, dismissed. But it's only 2 points better than no armor at all, and they can't have a shield. Now, their dexterity may give them up to a 3-point defensive bonus. If they got an 18 dexterity, they have 3 points defensive bonus, and that will bring that 7 down to a 4. Much better, but still not as good anywhere near what the fighters are doing. Like, the solo fighter in the first adventure was an AC 4 with his chainmail and shield. So yeah, weapons. A thief may use any missile weapon and any other weapon usable with one hand. Two-handed weapons are prohibited, but not missile weapons. You can use missile weapons, so like a bow is still permissible. See Advanced Combat, page 58. Here's where we get to their special abilities. So, thieves know how to open locks, find and remove traps, climb walls, move silently, hide in shadows, pick pockets, and hear noise. They also learn the skill of backstabbing. Except for hear noise, each number of is the percentage chance that the thief is successful in using that special ability. Your dungeon master will roll a D percentile. If the result is equal to or less than the percentage given, the thief's attempt is successful. Hear noise is determined in a similar way using 1d6. So, gonna be fun. Yeah. Here we have our D percentage. All right, we'll demonstrate. Explanation of thief special ability. So open locks may only be tried once per lock and only if the thieves' tools are carried. So you're gonna need those thieves' tools. Thief may not try again with that lock until gaining another level experience. This is what I was talking about before. So down here on level 1, 15%. That's practically a 1 in 6 that you have a chance of opening that lock. You only get the one go at it, and then you can try again at another level. That's it. Just a quick roll here. So yeah, 48, right? 39. Hey, that was a 5. We picked the lock that time. That's actually one of the better abilities at first level. Find traps. Maybe try it only once per trap. If a trap is found, the thief may attempt to remove it. Your chance is 10%, 1 in 10. Remove traps. May only be tried if a trap is found. It may be tried only once per trap. So I locate a trap, and now you're going to try to disarm the trap. Again, 10% chance. Climb walls. You'll be good at this, actually. Climb walls applies to any steep surface such as sheer cliffs, walls, and so forth. The chances for success are good, but if failed, the thief slips at the halfway point and falls. The DM will roll for success once for every 100 feet climbed. If failed, the thief takes 1 to 6 points of damage per 10 feet fallen. Failure during a 10-foot climb will inflict 1 point of damage. So, you got a 100-foot cliff in front of you. Theoretically, your first level character can try to scale that and has an 87% chance of success. If you fail, you fall 50 feet to your very likely death. That's an extreme example, but it is an example. That is possible within this rule set. Move silently. You will always seem successful to the thief. However, the DM will know, based on the percentage roll, whether the thief's movement is actually heard by nearby enemies, who may then take appropriate action. Your move silently is 20% chance. Hide in shadows means that the thief moves into and remains in shadows, also using neutral concealment. Movement is possible while hiding, but not attacking. The attempt will always seem successful to the thief, but only the DM will know for sure. Your first level Hide in Shadows ability, 10%. Pickpockets may be risky. If the DM rolls a number greater than twice the given chance for success, the thief is not only seen by those nearby, but is caught in the act by the intended victim, who may, and often does, react unfavorably. So your pickpocket's chance initially is 20%. So if I roll against this as the DM. Hey, 6. You successfully pickpocketed that pocket. But let's say I had rolled 50. You'd be caught in the act. 39? No, you're not caught, but you didn't succeed either. As an example, an apprentice tries to pick the pocket of a hired fighter, a non-player character played by the DM, rolling 1d10 twice, the percentile dice. Page 12. The DM rolls 41, so the thief is caught in the act. DM then rolls to determine the reaction of the fighter who might attack the thief. Maybe if you're charming, you can get your way out of it, kind of, Bugs Bunny style. Hear noise. Checked using 1d6 applies both to listening at doors and hearing the footsteps of approaching monsters. However, there is too much noise during battles to hear anything unusual. So you tell everybody, shh. It's a 1 to 2 for your first level character. So, 1 in 3 chance of hearing something that the lay person may not have noticed, right? If the noise is loud enough, you're not going to require a thief to hear it. But if it's if the goblins are like playing strip poker around the corner and down the corridor, the thief may have an unpleasant surprise listening for it. So, using thief special abilities. Watch for opportunities to use special abilities, and simply tell your dungeon master when you want your thief to use one. Be sure you understand how each one works. The attempt will automatically fail if improperly used. For example, an ogre is charging at the party, so you say, "My thief will hide in shadows and get out a dagger." The DM replies, "The ogre sees the movement and heads straight for your thief." If you're just standing in the sunlight, there's no shadows to hide in. It ain't going to work. If you were already in the brush and away from the rest of the party and that the ogre's running towards, yeah, maybe you can hide, right? Keep context in mind, is what it's trying to say. Backstabbing, probably what you're here for. If a thief can sneak up on a victim completely unnoticed, the thief may backstab. If the intended victim sees, hears, or is otherwise warned of the thief's approach, a backstab may not be taken, but the thief may still attack normally. When backstabbing, the thief gains a bonus of +4 in the hit roll, and if the target is hit, the damage done is twice normal. So here's our example. An apprentice is carrying a sword and sees an ogre approaching the party. The player says, "I'll hide in shadows." The DM rolls 19 on D percentile, so the ogre does not see the thief, but the DM does not announce that fact. During the battle, the ogre gets turned around with its back towards the thief. The player says, "I'll try to move in for a backstab." The DM decides that the ogre doesn't notice the thief's approach. No roll is made. It depends on the situation and the DM's judgment, and says the ogre doesn't notice you. Roll for a backstab. The thief player then makes a hit roll, adding 4 to it. If the ogre is hit, the player rolls for damage, doubling the result. When no battle is in progress, a backstab attempt may require a move silently check. Your DM will make all the necessary rolls. So that's the thief. And as you can see, let's get into those percentages, right? So level 1 percentages for open locks, 15. Level 2, 20. Level 3, 25. Find traps, 10, 15, 20. Remove traps, 10, 15, 20. Climb walls, 87, 88, 89. Doesn't progress much, does it? Move silently, 20, 25, 30. Hide in shadows, 10, 15, 20. Pickpockets, 20, 25, 30. And hear noise, 1 in 2, 1 to 2, 1 in 2, and 1 to 3. So it goes from a 1 in 3 chance to a 1 in 2 chance, a 1/2 chance. The thief is a hard start for a lot of characters. More popular a choice when you start with a certain amount of XP and a certain level pool. But to start level 1 with a thief is a hard road. And the DM may make adjustments to allow you to try to be a little better at what you do in some regards. But by and large, you are weak and a newbie, and boy, howdy, are you going to have a hard time picking locks and doing things. But if you can get yourself to the mid-levels, you'll actually be competent and effective and valuable. And if you're lucky, you'll be competent and you'll be valuable. If you use your character smartly, you'll be valuable. Not for a beginning player, I would say. We still have Dwarf and Halfling. And then I have some more of the, combat rules and stuff to read. We're at 22. Well, I guess we'll read Dwarf. Because, I've been trying to keep these at about a half hour. And while I've been a bit long, I've not been short. So let's try to get this taken care of. Dwarf. A dwarf is short and stocky, standing about 4 foot tall and weighing about 150 pounds. Male dwarves have long beards and females have short beards. Their skin is earth-colored and their hair is dark brown, gray, or black. Stubborn but practical, dwarves are fond of good food and drink. They value craftsmanship and love gold. Dwarves are sturdy fighters and are resistant to magic, as shown by their saving throws. A dwarf character must start with a constitution score of 9 or more. These dwarves, here's an nice Elmore dwarf, stereotypical dwarves. Very stereotypical dwarves. That's okay. They're fun. I love dwarves. Dwarves are great. Although the dwarf class is different from the fighter class in many ways, their tasks are the same. Both fight and should use the same strategy in combat. Read the description of the fighter class, page 28, for some tips on combat. So, we already did that. Again, XP for the level. Titles, I'm Rolf, the second level Dwarven Fighter. You should say, I'm Rolf, the Warrior, right? It is Dwarven Warrior, Dwarven Veteran, Dwarven Warrior, and Dwarven Swordsman. Dwarves are effectively demi-human fighters with some special abilities. And reduced saving throws. And spoiler, later on when you start getting to the expert and companion set rules, they have limited progression. You don't get to go to 36th level with a dwarf. I think you top out at 12 off the top of my head. Prime requisite is strength. If a dwarf has a strength score of 13 or more, the character gains a bonus to experience points and gain earned in every adventure. Remember, you have to have at least a constitution of 9 to get a dwarf. Hit dice. 8-sided die is used to determine the dwarf's hit points. Dwarf starts with 1 to 8 hit points plus constitution bonus if any, and gains 1 to 8 more hit points plus bonus with each level of experience. A dwarf may wear any kind of armor and may use a shield. A dwarf may use any weapon of small or normal size. Dwarves may not use two-handed swords or longbows. Short bows and crossbows are permitted. So, and I would say, your DM may be like, that suit. Generally, dwarves can wear human scale armor, right? If you run into a magical suit of chainmail, probably your DM's going to allow the dwarf to wear it. That halfling will not. Special abilities. A dwarf has special vision, knows several languages, and can detect certain things better than other characters. So, vision. Dwarves have that funky infravision that everybody likes to have, where they can see in the dark. In addition to normal sight, and can see 60 feet in the dark. Infravision is the ability to see heat and the lack of heat. Normal and magical light makes infravision useless. We read through infravision with the elf, but let's read again. With infravision, warm things seem red and cold things seem blue. For example, an approaching creature would be seen as a red shape, leaving faint reddish footprints. A cold pool of water would seem a deep blue color. Even items or creatures which are the same temperature as the surrounding air, such as a table or a skeleton, can be dimly seen by infravision. You ever watch a thermal camera, you'll have an idea what to try to picture, or maybe Predator. Languages. In addition to the languages of all characters, the common and alignment tongues, as explained on page 51, a dwarf can speak dwarf, gnome, goblin, and kobold. Character may have problems reading and writing these languages, however, as explained on the same page. Now, gnome is an interesting thing. There really aren't player character gnomes in the base version of this game. However, if you get yourself an expansion, which I just happen to have over here, Top Ballista, there are gnomes. There are definite gnomes in here. And not like gnome illusionist like you'd get in like Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. But gnomes tend to be NPC, kind of not really monster creatures in this setting. Detection. All dwarves are experts at mining. They can sometimes detect traps, sliding walls, sloping corridors, and new constructions. If your dwarf character wants to search for such things in an area, tell your dungeon master. You have 1 chance in 2 to find them. Your DM will roll 1d6, and a result of 1 or 2 will indicate success if there's anything to find. You may check once for each type. You must tell your DM if you want to look for anything. The detection is never automatic. Now, it said 1 chance in 2, but it said if I roll a 1 or if the DM rolls a d6 and rolls a 1 or a 2, you succeed. 1 and 2 is okay, whatever. Let's just assume it's a 1 or 2 on a d6. Example, you say, I'll check this wall to see if it slides. The DM, knowing that it will slide, rolls 1d6 and it gets a result of 2. The DM says, yes, it appears to slide. And that is the dwarf character. And that's where we're going to start wrapping up, because it is just about 30 minutes on the mark. So next time, we'll do the halfling character. We did elf with elf creation. And with the character creation. So we have our halfling. And then we did character creation here, which is these next few pages. So at that point, we'll move on into playing in a group. So players are not characters, how to prepare, that kind of stuff. We read the bit on alignment already. And then we have adventuring rules, which is a bit more of a potpourri of stuff. And then we actually have like the encounter rules and, missile combat, the advanced combat rules, variable weapon damage, all that kind of fun stuff. And then retainers, which actually I think is an underused and important part of the game. But many people play without retainers for whatever reason. And I think that's why people think charisma is a dump stat for one of the reasons. The other being like, a lot of DMs don't seem to want to use reaction rolls. But then we have our glossary, and we already been over this part. So join us next time when we carry on with the Halfling class and just start wrapping up the remaining sections of the book. And thank you very much for joining me here. I hope you have a great day. Goodbye.